Well, good afternoon, Cedarfield family. I hope all is well with you here on July 8th at 3 o'clock. To the residents and the team members who are here at the community, thank you for tuning in. And thank you to the families and friends and loved ones near and far listening to this video tonight in your quiet space at home. Format for today is really simple. You have yours truly here for the next probably 30 minutes, and then Trish Carter will be here for our good news segment and our segment on spiritual well-being. First, I just thought we, as the last several live streams here, or the last maybe 4 weeks, just kick us off here with some Cedarfield Forward information, our three-phase plan for independent living. We're going to talk about independent living three-phase plan compared to a health services three-phase plan here moving forward to really help people understand the difference between the two. We're not operating under just one plan to make things even easier, or maybe some people think it might be even more complicated, but to really help residents and families and team members understand the difference as these plans will be moving forward and evolving. We thought we would use this opportunity on the live stream to touch on each of the three-phase plans to provide a little bit more color commentary on where we're at with those three-phase plans. Before I do move into independent living's three-phase plan, just thought to talk a little bit about COVID-19 in the area. We have some, I thought we could start off today with some good news. If you zoom in on this the screen here, this one of the main metrics that the counties are using, the state level, certainly the federal government, the CDC, everyone is using this metric called the 7-day positivity rate. It's the number of tests that are performed compared to how many tests are actually positive in that same reporting period. And we look for a 7-day trend to understand really what's happening in a geographic area. So this is the first time I have used the information and thought we would continue to highlight it because it's probably the main metric and everyone should really know what that metric is. And so here is the latest as of an hour ago from the Virginia Department of Health. You can see the Commonwealth of Virginia. Our current rate is 6%, which is a decrease from yesterday. In Henrico County, we are at a 4.6% percentage. In Chesterfield, we're at 7.9%. And in Richmond, we're at 5.2%. I tried to find Hanover County. Sorry, Renee. Couldn't find Hanover. But all these four counties are on a slight decrease. If you look from the same day reporting period, and if you look at their 7-day trend, the good news is that we have consistently seen a decrease in that percentage. So that's all good news when 36 states are seeing an increase in their positivity rate. So, good news for us. Keep up the good work. It takes a village, and this doesn't just happen because we're in the city of Richmond or in Henrico County. This is a lot of work on behalf of every person who lives in one of these counties, taking the message seriously and wearing masks, washing hands, good infection control, etc. So, I wanted to share that. I wanted to share some news about a point prevalence survey So we did have contact with the Virginia Department of Health and the National Guard yesterday morning, and they gave us some final details of our point prevalence survey, which will be tomorrow. Tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning to 9:30. We have a 2.5-hour window for the National Guard to help us with this point prevalence survey that you hear the Virginia governor talking a lot about here recently. So they will be here, and we are testing, just for clarity purposes here, we're testing every resident who lives in one of 3 areas: the health center, every resident that lives in assisted living, and every resident that lives in our memory support neighborhood. So in total, there are 5 neighborhoods, and every resident in those neighborhoods will be tested. Additionally, every team member who works in one of those 5 neighborhoods will be tested. And that number equates to about 185 people. And then thirdly, the third category is any persons that are coming onto the campus from either an agency or are providing supplemental care through a private, as a private duty, that are working in one of these 5 neighborhoods. Those individuals will be tested as well. So in total, we are testing tomorrow about 325 people through this point prevalence survey. And then next week, on Thursday, we're going to retest those 325 people again. And that is the main metric requirement from the Virginia Department of Health to have these back-to-back tests in order for Cedarfield or any nursing home or assisted living in the Commonwealth to move into phase 1 of a 3-phase plan. Without these 2 tests, you are not permitted to move into phase 1. If, big if, knock on wood, if there is a case that's positive, then we have to test weekly in one of those 5 neighborhoods, wherever the issue may be. All those residents and team members who live and work in that neighborhood, and test continuously until that neighborhood is 14 days free of COVID-19. So it's been a lot of work here in the last week, and a lion's share of that goes to Connie McGowan, Melissa Seiler, and Matt Dameron, who Matt is the Associate Executive Director, Melissa Seiler is the Director of Nursing, and Connie McGowan is our Infection Control Specialist. So those 3 individuals have been at the helm of organizing this effort. We've communicated to the team members in these 5 that work in these 5 neighborhoods through multiple ways in this last few days. We've called every team member. We have individually called every team member, and we've also done a call them all to all the team members. We've written memos to all these team members, and so we are looking for 100% participation from the 185 team members that work in and around those neighborhoods. We're not looking for anything less than 100% participation. If a team member doesn't show up for the point point prevalence survey this week and for their mandatory testing that we actually have to conduct next week, then they have to show us proof that they went to another site here in Rickenbacker County. So I just want everyone to know, families, residents, and the team members, that we're taking this very seriously. We know we want to head into phase 1 on the licensed areas, and without this requirement, we simply are not permitted to do so. So, a little bit about that second test. So next week, when we test those same 325 people, the National Guard will not be helping with that test. Virginia Department of Health will not be helping with that test. The communities around the Commonwealth, including Cedarfield, are required to have a contract with a lab, which we do, and we are responsible for operationalizing that test for 325 people. So the communication around that test, the administration of that test, the collection of the tests themselves, and then the delivery of them to the lab. Our lab happens to be over here at Cox Road, right behind the Silver Diner, called JetWorks. And then every week, if we have a case and we have to test residents and team members in the neighborhood, Cedarfield is responsible for operationalizing that test. And we're also held accountable to the financing of that test as well. We got a pretty good rate over at JetWorks, but we have to pay that bill every week after this point prevalence survey. So hopefully that puts a little bit more information to what's happening tomorrow and next week. If anybody has any questions about the testing, please feel free to either call Matt Dameron, Melissa Seiler, Connie. Feel free to contact the administration suite here, and we'll answer your questions just as quickly as we can. Phase 2 seems to be going fairly well. Residents have reported to the administration office that some of the things that we tweaked from phase 1 into phase 2 were a relief, mainly dining services. Those of you that had the opportunity to dine on Monday night and Tuesday nights, I've heard a lot of great things about not only the service, the variety of food, temperature of food, the overall general experience, the hospitality experience. People were really delighted to have dinner in Prima, Cedar Grill, or Pub 2300. So one of the other changes to phase 2 is many folks have been asking about a florist. How can we get flowers delivered? And so this is a real, when we talked to our contact at the Virginia Department of Health, this one was a real sticking point with them. And we Beth Burrell has been working with and visited a florist here in town. We've actually had this account for forever. So if family members or residents wish to use a florist, we are confident that, and we will accept flowers from Coleman Brothers. They know Cedarfield very well. They have a designer at the shop who's dedicated to Cedarfield. They have very strict protocols on when they're creating their arrangements. They have one specific driver that comes to Cedarfield, and so that is our go-to florist. If anybody wishes to get something delivered, we will accept deliveries from Coleman Brothers. So good news. Thank you, Beth Burrell, for investigating that for us. This is a simple reminder based on a medical appointment. If you need to have a person pick you up for a medical appointment, and or you want Ann Hopper to be in the know about that appointment to help with different medical transport arrangement, the message here is to please contact Ann Hopper. There have been some instances of residents leaving messages on my phone or Renee's phone or the front desk. The main person to contact about medical appointments is Ann Hopper in the Wellness Clinic. Compared to we call it social appointments. So if you need someone to come pick you up because you're going to go to a restaurant or someone's going to drop you off at your loved one's house to have dinner with your son or daughter, that call comes to Renee Langley in the administration suite. And only Renee, not the front desk. Please call Renee, and she is creating a list for the gatehouse, and we deliver a list to the gatehouse every day so they have an accurate schedule of who's coming onto the property, who's approved to come onto the property. And then just lastly here about COVID-19, there's metrics that we are using as our yardstick of helping us determine which phase we go into with independent living. Certainly, I just shared with you the COVID-19 positivity rates. We have surveillance tools that we use to manage and monitor signs and symptoms of people who live in the cottages or the main building, in memory support, assisted living, and the health center. The good news is, right now, Cedarfield is COVID-free. We do not have any resident, we don't have any team member that is either positive with COVID-19 or any tests that are still pending out there. So right at this second, we're COVID-free. We're testing 325 people tomorrow. So let's cross our fingers and let's all be positive and send those positive vibes that this point prevalence survey doesn't muster up any positive cases. So let's just all be very positive here in the next 24 hours. We currently don't have anybody on our contact trace lists. We do have a couple of people under isolation because of our 14-day quarantining policy. Many residents have had the need to go out to the emergency room and or were hospitalized. So we have that benchmark data. We also have many residents who have left Cedarfield and have gone to known hotspots. And so we have that list. And so those two parameters are giving us just a little bit of pause right now in terms of moving forward and continuing to plan with phase 3. Otherwise, things seem to be pretty good in terms of a dashboard of green, yellow, and red. Green meaning systems are moving into another phase. It seems to suggest that Cedarfield, we're trending in a green fashion on that dashboard to be able to start looking at what phase 3 is and talk about the timing of that at some point in August. COVID-19 by the numbers, these numbers have not changed since last week. We've had 69 residents tested over the last 19 weeks of this pandemic, and 10 residents have tested positive, and 96 team members were tested, and 12 of them tested positive. So these numbers will obviously change tomorrow. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to text. Renee is here with us and can field your questions if anybody has any questions. I'm going to move on a couple slides while Renee is fielding any questions. I just want to thank Dr. Branson. About 20 minutes ago, he sent me an email about an article. We keep talking about the 3 W's now: wearing a mask, washing our hands, and watching our distance, or being physically distant. Dr. Branson sent me an article about some myth busting about wearing masks. So I thought I would just share that. If anybody would like the link to this article, please feel free just to reach out to Renee and I, and we will send you this link. So the article talks about myth busting of wearing masks. The first myth buster is that masks can cause carbon monoxide poisoning. That is untrue. Actually, we've heard that here at Cedarfield. We've had several emails over the last probably month or so of people asking that question. Second myth, people with respiratory issues shouldn't wear masks. That is also a false statement. Wearing a mask doesn't really hinder someone's ability to breathe if they're already having respiratory issues. That is not a scientific proven statement. Wearing masks are useless if you're not sick with COVID-19. It's also a big myth. Wearing masks is proven to help the situation. I've seen different reports. One report said as low as 17%. Another report I read said as high as 37%, meaning the 3 W's is really the most effective way. Wearing a mask on the high end of 37%. I know that really a lot this week there's a lot of news articles talking about the distance of droplets in the air, particularly the smaller droplets. If you really get a big sneeze, some of those sneezes and those droplets can go out about 30 feet. But in general, it's the 6-foot rule. And so the myth buster here is masks do work, and you should even wear them, even if you're not COVID positive. It helps protect the person who's in front of you from anything that you might have. Two more additional myths. Face masks will compromise your immune system. That is another false statement. Immunity really has a lot to do with your vitamin intake. I know for me, I'm taking, hold on a second while we switch out this microphone. Yours truly is taking extra vitamin B, vitamin C, D, zinc, and elderberry is kind of my recipe each day now. Increasing my ICUs of those vitamins, really helping boost immunity along with other different fruits and vegetables. So but wearing a mask does not compromise the immunity system. And the last myth buster, masks mandates infringe on constitutional rights. This is a controversial topic. I would refer you to this article that Dr. Branson's provided me to go into a little bit more detail about this specific myth buster. Renee does have a question. So the question is, that just came in, why doesn't Cedarfield offer testing for independent living residents? If whomever wrote that or texted that question, if you're referring to being offered a test, I think maybe we have a contract with a lab, so maybe we should look at if residents want to test on their own using our lab and our contract. Maybe we should look at a way to make that a reality. It does. There is a financial cost to every test, and I think maybe as long as a resident is willing to pay the fee that provides the collection of the test itself, the collection of the test, and then the specimen leaving here and going over to the lab and then analyzing the particles. As long as somebody is willing to pay that rate, I think maybe we should look at making that available to residents. So, good question. Okay, Cedarfield Forward, the Health Services 3-phase plan. So I just talked about the independent living 3-phase plan, some of the content of that. Cedarfield in general is, every level of care is not already in phase 2. The independent living side of our community is in phase 2. But when we talk about the health center, assisted living, or memory support, we're not even in phase 1 yet in the licensed areas, for reasons that I just talked about a couple of moments ago. Virginia Department of Health has some very clear guidelines of what we need to do in order to be granted permission to go into phase 1. Matt Dameron, Melissa Seiler, all of the clinical leaders and neighborhood leaders have been working hard at what is a 3-phase plan for all the licensed areas. We are prepared, we're getting prepared to implement a 3-phase plan, and it all hinges on these next 2 weeks of the test results. So that's not just true for Cedarfield, that is true for every long-term care setting in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And so those of you that have friends at other retirement communities in the area, you'll probably hear them say, oh yeah, our point prevalence survey is on, they may have already had it, or it may be forthcoming, and that is the initial test that is required from the Department of Health. So, more to come in these next couple of weeks about what is the 3-phase plan in memory support, assisted living, and the health center as we draw closer to and getting past this point prevalence survey. Thank you to the families that are out there listening tonight. Many of you have commented on the joy that it is to utilize these visitation vistas and the opportunity to visit your loved one. Many families have commented on how overwhelmingly positive it's been as an experience just to see their loved one, to connect to their loved one. This is actually one of those visitation vista sites over by the health center. So thank you for all those comments. It is very hot outside right now, obviously, and so as residents are coming out, we're providing them liquid water to drink so that they're as they're in and one around these visitation vistas, that they're hydrating themselves and talking to family members. So I think that does it for our COVID-19 communication. If anybody has any other questions about that, our evolving preparedness plan, if anybody has any questions about our infection control practices, any other additional questions about testing, please feel free to call. Just one comment. Again, I've been talking over these last 19 weeks about how great of a partner the Virginia Department of Health is. As one example, we are just one community here in, we have 73 nursing homes in Riker County. And Rebecca Lewis, who is the chief epidemiologist here in the county, just texted or sent me an email before we came on here for this live stream, just simply asking, how's it going? How can we support you any further? It's that kind of even very frequent, informal reach out from the department, asking what can they do to help support us. So if you know of anybody that works around the Virginia Department of Health, or have a chance to email them and just thank them and lift them up, they have a huge job right now, and they're doing it with such grace and professionalism and efficiency. I think that they would really be glad to hear from you. Our Heroes campaign, we kicked off this campaign on July 1st, and it is simply going very well. Thank you to the families out there, families abroad, in Europe, families here in the United States, and definitely here locally. Thank you to residents and some team members. It has been an overwhelmingly positive experience thus far here, 8 days into this campaign. Allison and I are just so incredibly pleased with the results so far. So thank you. We're very grateful and blessed for the people who have already donated to this fund. We promise to be good stewards of the philanthropy efforts. And then towards the end of this month, we'll actually work with residents and team members on what the funds will go towards, and we will share with everybody what is the intent of the campaign. So again, just thank you. We're grateful. We're humbled by the response thus far. And those of you that have not participated yet, if you need a little bit more color commentary, explanation about what the Heroes campaign is all about, please feel free to call the administration suite, call any one of the department directors, and we would be glad to help you with the purpose of this fundraising effort. Last week, I talked a little bit about rehab services and thanking the residents who have stuck with rehab from March through today. I talked a little bit about the spike in rehab services over the last 2 weeks, going back to what is a normal number for Cedarfield of about approximately 135 residents utilizing rehab services on a monthly basis. So I'm so pleased that the residents are utilizing this vital amenity and service here in the community. So my word of caution revolving around rehab services is we have seen over the last 10 days an alarming rate of falls on the campus. So we tend to think right now it's because of hydration, especially some of the falls that have happened over the last 48 hours. Some of the residents seemingly have been really taking good care of themselves, mentally very alert, but because of this huge spike in the temperature along with the humidity, we think that many of these falls in the apartments or walking around the campus are a result of just simple things, maybe not lifting up our knees high enough and our foot in order to walk. And all those little things are a result of hydration. And so, I guess the public service announcement is here. You know, we're in this COVID-19 world, and we're being told to stay at home is better, but yet we want to get out and about, and we want to breathe fresh air, but it is really hot. Eddie and I were here last night at 9:30 last night, setting up a trial run for a movie night, and it was doggone hot. It was 86 degrees while we were setting up that movie screen. It's hot. So please drink. This may sound very simple, but please drink 6 glasses of water a day. That's what's recommended by the CDC, and that has nothing to do with COVID-19. That's just a good, healthy practice. And now more than ever, as residents and team members want to get out and walk and breathe in fresh air, hydration is critical. For those of you that haven't reached out to rehab for maybe little things that are popping up in your life, I would encourage you to do so. The team is there, they're willing, ready, and able to meet PT needs, physical therapy, occupational therapy, and then certainly speech therapy needs. So that's our public service announcement around rehab services. Little construction updates. D-Wing, we have been working with our insurance adjusters, both from the general contractor and the subcontractor's perspective. We've been working with our environmental hygienists, looking for where the moisture has led us to in these 3 different levels of this building. We think we really have a great environmental hygienist report that captures every potential square inch of where this water was affected. And so we are probably about 80% into building the renovation project that will get the apartments and the hallways back to new, along with the elevator. The elevator company came out finally a couple of days ago, were able to give us a true assessment of the equipment in that shaft. So we are putting all that information together, and hopefully in the next couple of days, we will have an estimated schedule of what it's going to take to put those couple of apartments back together. The pond dredging project, I went out there today and took a picture, a delightful picture. It's great to see that pond back up in a normal setting, and this was a shot from the deck over on the east side of the pond. So there's 3 things that we still have to do with the pond dredging. One is the county's asking us to do a couple more things with the dam over on the east side of the pond. We still need to lower the shrubbery outside of the deck on the clubhouse, which I think that will start on Monday of next week. And then the third thing we need to do is when you're driving into the property, you see that little alleyway of trees that we took down. Every 3 years, we have to go back into the pond and dig out sediment in a little contained area that we built. And so that little alleyway that you see is going to remain. And what we are investigating, we think we found the product that we're going to put on the ground, allowing grass to grow through it, but yet when we have to go through this project in the next 3 years, equipment that you see out there right now will withstand the product that we're going to put down, and therefore won't have to lay down wood and planks that you saw here over the last several So those are the three things that are left to do on that project. The garden beds. Here's the garden house that was delivered last Friday. I know many of the residents are pretty excited, including Mrs. Dowley that's looking down on us, smiling. She had a strong influence. In fact, her and her husband went to this site and really worked with the owner of this company to design this shed and the dimensions of it. So I know Mrs. Dowley is smiling down on us. This garden house, sorry, not shed. This garden house is out there, and additionally, the garden beds are being built. This was a picture taken probably about an hour ago. So those garden beds are being built as we speak. Additionally, outside of the wellness building, thank you to the maintenance team, Jack and Bobby. Last week painted all the steps. So that's a plus out there, make it a little bit more safe and secure. Every step has a yellow painting stripe on it now at this point. And then I just want to thank Jan Leakin over in Assisted Living, resident engagement, alive and well. She suggested this little area here had a curb at one point. Jan sent me an email and said, Michael, people in assisted living, if we have a mobility device, it's very difficult to navigate this area with the curb. So Jack had the contractor cut that curb and make it more of a ramp. So if you're coming down from assisted living, you can access that fire tank. So thank you, Jan, for the suggestion, and thank you to Carol Marco for shepherding the news until we got this complete. What is this picture? Eddie, what is this picture? So last night, this has been a dream of mine, that in this courtyard we have a movie night. So I've been involved with Eddie and the wellness and leisure team of getting movie night up and running. So this is our big screen, inflatable screen that we tested last night. For those of you that were wondering what all that loud music was of the movie that started, we apologize for startling everybody. But we do have a one-story inflatable screen. We tested the equipment last night, and we are ready to go with movies under the stars, so to speak. A socially distant experience. And we wanted to have our first movie night this Friday night. It looks like the late afternoon, early evening on Friday and Saturday are going to be met. We're going to be met with a lot of thunderstorms. If it still holds true from an hour ago, it looks about 80%. And so we might push this until Sunday night. In your informer, on your calendar, it says on Friday night that we're going to make this happen. We're not canceling it right now, but if the weather forecast holds, we don't really want this screen out there with all the wind and the rain and who's going to come out there anyway. So it looks like Sunday night at 8:45 is clear. So we might push this to Sunday, but one way or another, Friday night, Saturday, or Sunday night, we're going to have our first movie night in this courtyard. So look forward to more information here in the next day or so. And then lastly, thank you to Carol Marco. Carol's been very instrumental in helping us put systems in place to help new residents get acclimated to Cedarfield. What's the orientation process for new residents in the first 30 days, 60 days? And so Carol was instrumental in this little magnet that takes a little micro version of the most important 11 phone numbers, and she suggested that we give the new residents a magnet so they can put it on their refrigerator. Why do I bring all this up? We thought it would be just a good idea. Renee created it, and you have to order 1,000 of them at a time anyway. So everyone's receiving this magnet in your, if you're getting takeout delivery, you're getting a magnet in your bag tonight, just in case, not tonight.
In their cubbies.
Oh, in their cubbies. It's already in your cubby boxes. So please just put it on your refrigerator. It's a good little quick reference guide of who to contact for what. What are the main important 11 numbers? So, any other questions, Kevin? Eddie, do you have any questions, comments? Okay, so we're going to turn to Trish Carter is here. We're just on spiritual well-being and our good news segment.
Just waiting for a microphone.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Cedarfield. I would like to share with you a small portion of a chapter in a book that I am reading by Joan Chittister called The Gift of Years, Growing Old Gracefully. This chapter is on forgiveness. The young know the rules, Oliver Wendell Holmes wrote. The old know the exceptions. There is a softening of the heart that comes with age, not so much out of virtue as experience. By the age of 70, we not only know that no one is perfect, we know that no one can be perfect. Not we, not they, not anybody. In fact, we learn as the years go by that life is nothing but a series of exceptions to be reckoned with, to be mediated and to be understood. Our standards are only that, standards. They are not absolutes, and those who seek to make them so soon fall on the face of their own rigidities. Sorry, Eddie, I just had to turn the page. The burden of these years is that we run the risk of allowing ourselves to be choked by the struggles of the past. The blessing of these years is the ability to see that life does not have to be perfect to be perfect. It only needs to be forgiving and forgiven. And now on to some good news. This handsome young man is Teddy Martin. Teddy graduated from Mary Mumford on June 12th. He received his diploma in car drive-by style. Put it to the next picture. His big brother, Leif, also graduated from Mary Mumford 2 years ago. His younger brother, Francis, will be in 3rd grade next year. These handsome young men are all the grandsons of Betty Shorten. You may have seen them around Cedarfield. They loved visiting their grandma and look forward to coming back for sleepovers and to swim and to eat. And Betty, we so look forward to a chance to have them back to frolic watch movies and eat. Because one day we are going to get through this and they will be back. And that is the best news I can think of today. If you have some good news to share with the community, please send it either to Margaret Ernstis or to me, Trish Carter, and we'll be happy to get it on the screen. Thank you.